Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Al Koken and Mike Forns with you tonight. Score in the first period. Plenty of penalties, though, and something you would expect, Mike, when these two teams get together. But also, I think when the Capitals get together with any teams, this is the most penalized team right now in the National Hockey League. But interestingly enough, the Capitals 28.8 penalty per game. But their opposition is when the teams when they play the Capitals, averaging 31.7 minutes per game. So Capital opponents are taking about 2 more minutes in penalties per game when they play the Capitals, and yet it's the Capitals that lead the league in penalties. And you look at the games previously played between the Caps and Flyers this year, the Caps pretty much right on average 28.3 minutes in penalties, while the Flyers have taken 37.7 minutes in penalties against the Washington Capitals in their games this season.
I thought we were going to see some more penalties before we even started play here in the second period. We've had an interesting little exchange just now between Brian Murray on the Washington bench and Rick Tocchet. Tocchet had something to say skating past Brian Murray, and Brian responded right to him. Brian got all the way to the bench and had one leg up on the bench and was talking to Rick Tocchet, and Tocchet barking right back at Brian Murray.
So we can assume it wasn't Happy Holidays.
I don't know that they were talking about who they got Christmas cards from. But we're underway now with the second period. We still have Sheehy and Chychrun in the penalty boxes from the calls made late in the first period. And Rod Langway leads it ahead now, too far for Ciccarelli. Reggett lets it go behind the net and now clears it up the boards. Ridley kicks it loose, back to Ciccarelli. Deep in Philadelphia ice, over to Kelly Miller. Miller back to Ciccarelli, a backhander went just wide of the net. He was knocked down on the play as he tried to backhand the shot in. Here's Mellanby over to Howe. Back to Scott Mellanby. Gets across the blue line. Inside the Washington zone, Yuri Lottle, a shot. Derek Smith with the rebound. Beaupre stopping the first drive, and then Smith shooting wide. Here's Howe again back at the point. Knocked down, and Kelly Miller takes over. Here's Miller ahead on the right wing. Out to Ridley. Ridley to Howe. Taken over by Langway. Langway clears it out to center, knocked down by a high stick from the Flyers' Mark Howe. And play is called.
Rather interesting the way the Flyers started out that period. The puck was deep in the Washington defensive zone. Langway goes back behind his net, looks up, and he doesn't see any forecheckers coming at him. It's been such a tradition for the Philadelphia Flyers to send at least one forechecker in very deep and very hard. This time the Flyers lined up the blue line and clogged things up in the neutral zone, much the way the Montreal Canadiens play things. Something we saw a little bit last year in the playoffs. And Paul Holmgren, along with Mike Eaves and Andy Murray, the two assistant coaches, have been switching up their forechecking systems a little bit this year to try and keep the opposition a bit confused, because you know the Capitals must have made some adjustments to get the hard Flyer forechecking solved, and the Flyers come out with that neutral zone forechecking. So a little bit of battle of wits going on between Paul Holmgren and Brian Murray.
It's the wonders of satellite TV scouting. Here's Wells jamming up in behind the net with Murray. Now Allen May and Samuelson start to push and shove a bit. Multiple shooters during that first period. Sutter had 2, and Courtnall for Washington had 2, but Samuelson led all players on both teams. He had 3 shots on goal during the first period. Everybody else was 1.
Here's the Dino Ciccarelli chance. You see, he's going down a little bit as he gets that shot away, with Laddle coming in at him. Had a little room to shoot when that quick maneuver, something that Dino specializes in, the quickness around the front of the net. Of course, the Capitals have assistant coach Robbie Laird up in the press box and in communication with Doug McLean behind the bench. So no doubt Robbie Laird and McLean talking now about that switch up on the Flyer forechecking. And this is the move. It's getting more and more like football with the coaches up in the stands on the headsets and making adjustments not only just between periods, but as the game goes on.
Kypreos slaps it across the line back inside the Philadelphia zone. Kevin Hatcher over to Scott Stevens. Courtnall back to Stevens, and now out to Ivan Korovo. Korovo across the line on his backhand, drops the pass off. Here's a shot by Courtnall, stopped by Reggett. Cleared off the sideboards, and Tocchet starts to center. Right wing pass. Two players going to the box now as Courtnall and Wells were tied up as they crossed the blue line, and we're going to have penalties here from Dennis Morrell. Time of the call is 2:11 of the second period.
And since they're coincidental penalties, it certainly doesn't hurt the Capitals, and in one regard helped them because the Flyers had a nice rush coming up ice. As Scott Stevens tried to keep the puck in the Flyers zone, Tocchet got him around him, and Tocchet led that rush out. You've got Dale Hunter on that right side playing defense, and so you had a 3-on-2 Philadelphia break going, and you could see right there Tocchet was going to make that move, and there's where Dennis Morrell blew the whistle. So a very dangerous Flyer opportunity was taken away by the coincidental penalties.
Here's Lotto back in his own zone now for Philadelphia. No score early in the second period. Ron Sutter to the corner, but Hatcher works it free and sends it out to Ciccarelli. Led ahead to center ice. Mike Ridley across the blue line, hooked on the play, and his pass stolen by Mark Howe. It's thrown back out to center ice. Scott Stevens intercepted by Yuri Lotto. Tocchet takes it away to Craven. Philadelphia's offside, and now a pile-up right at the blue line. Stevens didn't like having one of the Flyers on top of him, but no penalty calls coming as a result. Back with more in just a moment.
Last week, we bought this great new VCR at Circuit City. They guarantee if we find a lower price within 30 days, they'll refund the difference plus 10%. I'm going to find a lower price.
Right, Harold.
I found it. Oh, it's a Circuit City sale.
Don't they pay anyway?
They pay anyway, even on their own sale. That's some guarantee.
Harold, you're brilliant.
Circuit City, the intelligent choice.
17-14 left to go in the second period. Still no score in this hockey game.
Langway with the puck from the faceoff. Leads it over to Sheehy. Back to Langway. Dumps it across the line, and Leach hustles to the corner after it. Puck cleared off the boards, and now here's Bullard up ahead to center ice. Eklund across the blue line, left wing side. Here's a pass. Bullard with a shot, deflected just wide of the net. Capitals come back on the attack. Here's Pavanka, left wing side, now for Johansson. He throws it into the corner, and Reggett puts it behind the goal. Up the boards for Kartner, stolen by Steve Leach. Poked behind the net. Boulder jams up on the play right at the blue line with Bullard. Now the puck comes loose, and finally Bullard takes over. Mike Bullard sends it all the way down the ice. Beaupre plays it up the right wing boards for Steve Leach. He feeds a pass out to Rob Murray. Murray across the blue line, throws it into the corner. Jammed up by Samuelson. Mark Howe in to take the puck. Sinisalo throws it into the Washington zone, and Beaupre hands it off now to Kevin Hatcher. At center ice, Mark Howe grabs the puck, starts in, right wing side for Sinisalo. Acton throwing it wide of the net. Still moving it along. Now back to Alan May. To Rob Murray. His wrist shot stopped by Reggett. The rebound loose and cleared. And out of the zone come the Flyers on the attack. Here's Berube shooting just wide of the goal, and the play called offside. And now some pushing and shoving right in front of the net. Berube grabbed on the play and held up, and now Acton gets in there and tries to grab on. Horacek and Kartner arrive on the scene. Alan May is grabbed by Kartner from behind. Shel Samuelson paired up with Hunter. And now it looks like it's Sheehy in front, doing most of the pushing and shoving there. grabbing on with his opponent, Keith Acton. And Acton starts the punch by throwing a right hand, and Sheehy is being pulled away, and Sheehy has not thrown any punches yet, but Acton has punched at Sheehy, and the linesmen are trying to keep them apart. Oh, now and Sheehy uncorks the right hand to the head of Acton, and now another fight gets started as Karkner is going, and Karkner is dropped down on the ice surface, and we have two fights going. Karkner trying to throw right-hand punches, and a wrestling match going on there. Berube being pulled away from Scott Stevens. Those two are yapping at one another. And Karkner gets up now and starts to go at Alan May from behind. He grabs at Alan May's head and pulls on his helmet. And Karkner keeps throwing punches. And Alan May now grabs him by the arms and holds on as Sheehy and Acton continue to tie up in the corner. And Karkner is on top of Washington's Alan May. Scott Stevens is still keeping an eye on Berube, who's being kept away by referee Dennis Morrell. Several other pairings are now congregating in the corner. But two main fights have broken out, and Sheehy and Acton continue, and they start yapping at one another now in the corner, and Sheehy has already given Acton what looks to be a pretty good mouse under the eye, as Acton's eye is swelling up already after Sheehy's right-hand cross belted Acton just below the left eye. We understand that you are not seeing video of this at home, so now you're back with us, we're told, so we'll maybe have a replay to show you, but to summarize, two basic fights going, and Sheehy has gotten the better of Acton while Karkner wound up on top of Alan May.
You notice how we have not mentioned Tony Horacek until right now. Craig Berube, the only time we mentioned him the entire game was when he served at bench minor, their first regular shift of the night, and it didn't take much to get things going. Thought I saw Berube throw the first punch, but I'll tell you something, the Flyers should be upset. Dennis Morrell was in there with Ray Scapanello, keeping those guys, Sheehy and Acton, apart, and then Morrell left, and Sheehy took advantage and started duking it out with Acton with only Scapanello restraining Acton. So that certainly was a disadvantage for the Philadelphia Flyers. I would be willing to bet we're going to see some people gone for quite some time, not just 5-minute majors for fighting, but there's got to be some misconducts in here and possible game misconducts because of the way these fights developed while linesmen were holding on to people, including referee Dennis Morrell, who really in a situation like that shouldn't be involved in that. He should be back there taking note of what goes on, but there was so much going on that Morrell was in there with Scapanello and then left. And that really started things between Sheehy and Acton. And the other thing that was interesting, Karkner had Alan May down. It almost looked like he reached down, helped Alan May to his feet, and then jumped him from behind. So a little bit of, I guess, hockey fight etiquette broached by Terry Karkner. Once you got your opponent down, don't let him up. He actually looked like he helped him up, but seemed to have the upper hand in that entire exchange.
Time of the penalty calls will be 4:45 of the second period. You mentioned Dennis Morrell taking note. Literally, you'll sometimes see an official pull out a notepad and actually write down numbers to make sure you've got them all. There you see Acton nursing that eye, and you bet he's got a pretty good shiner going there, courtesy of Neil Sheehy.
Well, these two teams will not be exchanging Christmas gifts, you can bet, but if you want to exchange a Christmas gift and you haven't gotten one yet, you know a hockey fan who would love to get out to the Capitol Center for some games, how about purchasing a season ticket or partial plan for any of the remaining home games? If you'd like more information, Capitol sales reps are standing by right now. They'll answer all your questions on how the season tickets work for the rest of the year, how the partial plans for the rest of your work, and what benefits you get in terms of playoff seeding. Give them a call at 386-7080. That's 386-7080. We'll try and sort out all these penalties for you when we return.
Oh, yeah!
Amtrak is the better way to Atlantic City. Special bonuses add to the fun. Daily service. Call your travel agent or call Amtrak at 1-800-USA-RAIL.
Bye-bye! All aboard!
The Flyers Flyers trying to put themselves back together, and the Capitals right now at least have lost Alan May. Now Karkner is on top of Alan May right here. Now watch, he like helps him up to the ice and then starts throwing punches. And then comes in from behind and wrestles him back down to the ice. I've never ever seen that.
Karkner figures never hit a man when he's down.
Yeah, I guess so. Boy, that A on Terry Karkner's sweater, it's not the scarlet letter. He's just trying to show the way he wants to have this fight done. But Alan May has been sent to the Capitals dressing room, and it certainly didn't look like he was suffering any injury. And there is 5:15 left to play in this second period, which means it should preclude if there was a major, or 15-15, excuse me. That would mean even if there was a major and a misconduct, Alan May still would be in the penalty box. Here's the calls.
Flyers number 17, Greg Berube, 2 minutes for roughing. Washington penalty, number 15, Neil Sheehy. Flyers penalty number 25, Keith Acton. Each 5 minutes for fighting, each a 10-minute misconduct. Washington penalty number 16, Alan May. Flyers penalty number 29, Terry Karkner. Each 5 minutes for fighting, each a game misconduct. Washington penalty number 9, Nick Kyprios. Flyers penalty number 21, Tony Horacek. Each 2 minutes for roughing. The penalties come at 4 minutes, 45 seconds.
Well, the Washington Capitals do get a man advantage out of this. And it was that original shot that I saw Craig Berube throw. And the other thing, even though Alan May has become a valuable man to the Washington Capitals lately, Mike, remember this guy scored 2 goals the last time the Capitals played in this building. They still lose Terry Karkner to the Flyers. Now, here's where Berube has thrown the punch, Acton leaping in there on Sheehy, and this is where the bedlam breaks out. Well, with the Capitals getting the power play, it's time for the second Circuit City power play contest. Contestant number 2, Angela Perry of Washington, D.C. Now, Angela has chosen Dale Hunter as the Capitals player to score in this power play. If Hunter scores, Angela, you receive a video or stereo unit courtesy of Circuit City.
Talked about Dennis Morrell in the notepad. He did a pretty good job, I thought, of spotting all the players that were involved there. I think you're correct in saying that he was at one point trying to separate some of the players in the fight, and maybe he'd have been better off watching, but he seemed to get them all. He got everybody that was involved in the roughing. There you see Acton jumping in. But that's the end of Karkner and May for this game. Karkner for Philadelphia, Alan May for Washington, kicked out. 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct. Acton and Sheehy each get 5-minute fighting penalties and a 10-minute misconduct.
Boy, and Tocchet and Hunter exchanging sticks.
Here's a shot by Hatcher up high, and Reggett takes it in the shoulder but holds on.
We're far from done in this game in terms of the penalties for aggressive action. Slashing, high sticking. Watch Tocchet and this man, Dale Hunter, coming together. And Reggett leaving the puck for Tocchet. Tocchet knows he's coming. Both of them gets up, and that's actually a pretty good clean exchange. I mean, you could say the sticks got up a little bit, but they also really barreled into each other with their shoulders. It could have been a lot worse, and how many times have we seen those situations where one guy who's playing the puck sees the other coming, and what he does is immediately put the stick up and run the guy. That actually was a pretty good collision by 2 tough competitors.
The puck cleared out of the zone and back inside Washington ice, and Kevin Hatcher back to play it.
Of course, it was after that they started slashing at each other as they headed up ice.
But the initial hits were clean.
His initial hits were fine.
Hatcher drives it in. Now in the corner. Played out of the zone to center ice, and again back into Philadelphia territory. Here's Samuelson to center. Throws it across the line, back inside the Washington zone. Scott Stevens back to play it. Tocchet overskates the puck, and it's carried in by Hatcher. Played over to Courtnall. Jeff Courtnall with the puck. Back to the point man, and it gets away from Kevin Hatcher and goes all the way down. Hatcher plays off the backboards over to Scott Stevens. Only 40 seconds left in the Washington power play, with Berube off the ice serving a roughing call that was the extra penalty. Here's a slap shot right on. The save made by Reggett. The rebound cleared all the way down the ice. Scoreless game. 13:35 to play in the second period. Scott Stevens works to center ice. In across the blue line. Poke check by Poulin. And Poulin clears it all the way down. And that'll take care of the minor penalty call. Berube ready to come out. And now Philadelphia back at full strength on the ice. Although still 4 players in the box and 2 players kicked out of the game. Slap shot by Ridley, blocked by Lotto. And now here's a drive by Cicerelli that goes wide. Derek Smith pokes it ahead for Berube. Berube tied up as the puck goes to the corner. On the right wing, Dino Cicerelli gets across the line. Carries into the corner. He's in behind the net. Centers and a shot and a goal! A great centering play by Cicerelli, who wrapped it right around the goal and through the goal mouth, and standing loose at the side of the net, able to tuck it in, Rob Murray for his 2nd goal of the season, and the Capitals take a 1-0 lead.
Well, this is a lot cleaner goal than Rob Murray's first, but the man who makes the play, as you mentioned, Mike, is Cicerelli. That little fake, now he turns on the Jets. He gets the step on Wells. He ties up Wells' stick and then is able to center it, and Murray does a great job. Despite being taken out of the play, it seems, by Eklund, he's still able to put it home. Now, I'll tell you, Jay Wells has got at least 30 pounds and about 4 or 5 inches on Dino Cicerelli. You would expect him to really take that matchup. But once Cicerelli got the step on him, and then maybe even more importantly, neutralized the stick, he had the advantage, and he made it pay. Rob Murray puts the Capitals on top, 1-0, thanks to a brilliant Dino Cicerelli setup.
Time of the goal, 7:16. Murray's 2nd goal of the season. Dino Cicerelli gets the lone assist. Here's Mark Howe coming back. Swept away. Bob Joyce comes back now with Ivan Korovo for Washington. Here's Joyce across the line, coming on around Lotto and shoots. But the puck goes wide of the net as Reggett is knocked down in the goal as Joyce crashes into him, and Reggett shaking his head a bit as the net has been dislodged and play is called.
Be here tonight at 11 p.m. as the fun continues on DC-20 with the king of late night cool, Arsenio Hall. That's tonight at 11 p.m. I'm a little surprised Laddle didn't get a penalty there. It looked like he did a pretty good job of tackling Bob Joyce, and I think you're showing a little, Bob Joyce here is showing a little bit of what the Capitals are expecting of him. He's good, strong, driving in off the wing. Usually it's that left wing side. Here he comes in on the right side. Laddle upending him and taking Reggett out as well. But this is what the Capitals want from Bob Joyce. Driving to the net, going hard in there, and standing in front.
Out come the Flyers. Rick Tocchet starts to center ice. Washington leads 1-0. Here's a steal. Now Sutter takes it back and fires, but Beaupre with a pad save. Back to Scott Stevens. Stevens hustles to the blue line. Now stick handles to center ice. Over to Pavanka. Right side pass looking for Leach is grabbed by Sutter. Out to center, and Hatcher dumps it right back in. Sutter starts out. Right side for Tocchet. At the blue line, he's hit by Stevens. Now Courtnall works it to center. Left side for Hatcher. Hatcher comes in and fires a wrist shot. Reggett juggles the puck, but holds on to make the save. 11:22 to go here in the 2nd period. Caps lead the Flyers 1-0.
The Rob Murray goal has given the Capitals the 1-0 lead with 11:22 left to play in the 2nd period here in Philadelphia. Dave Poulin now against Mike Ridley for this face-off to the right of Reggett.
Caps get the draw. Here's Langway to the right point. One-timer by Johansson goes wide. Now Cicerelli behind the net. Taken away by Poulin. Up the boards, and Mark Howe is able to clear the zone. Lead pass, 2-on-1. Poulin and Mellanby in on Langway. Poulin a shot. Fires it up high and wide. Chased by Chychrun. Langway covers up now as he has the puck, and the whistle blows to stop play. There's a difference between grabbing the puck with your gloved hand and pulling it underneath you and doing what Langway did. Rod knows all the tricks, and he wasn't about to be called for any sort of a penalty for what he did there.
He showed some of his tricks here on this 2-on-1. Look at the way he extends the stick to cut off that pass. You know, generally the defenseman, you will slide over a little more and let the shooter and the goaltender go one-on-one and really stay over more towards that winger coming down to prevent the pass. But Langway, knowing the speed and dangerousness of Dave Poulin, stays out there, keeps himself in between, but with that stick and that good reach, cuts off that pass, forcing Poulin to have the only option as a shot.
Here comes Hunter to center ice. Throws it on the right wing side, and it's too far for Corvo. The Flyers clear it back to center. Now Langway dumps it back inside Philadelphia territory, and Reggett leaves it behind the net. It's picked up there by Jeff Chychrun. Capitals lead 1-0 over the Flyers. We're just about midway through the second period of tonight's game. Craig Berube comes to center, throws it across the line and back inside the Washington zone. It is Langway behind the net. Rod Langway leads the pass. It's off the stick of Hunter and goes all the way down the ice back into the corner. Reggett behind the goal. Horacek takes a run at Hunter and hits him as the puck is cleared to center. And now there's going to be a minor penalty call for hooking coming at 9:49 of the second period. Power play hockey when we return to the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
$5,000 factory cashback.
Watch the action on the goal line. And the hooking penalty comes to Nick Kypreos of the Washington Capitals, giving the Flyers their first man advantage of this period.
Philadelphia 0 for 2 during the first period with the power play. Here's Mark Howe throwing it behind the Washington net. Don Beaupre slides it into the corner. The puck played out of the zone now and chased by Yuri Lottle all the way back inside Philadelphia territory. Lottle from Czechoslovakia works to center ice. Throws it behind the Washington net and played up the sideboards. Mike Ridley coaxes it out of the zone. Here's Miller, a break. Kelly Miller coming on, walking in, tripped up, crashes into the net, doesn't get a shot underway, but there's going to be a penalty called here by Dennis Morel. And there's concern now about Ken Reggett, who has not yet gotten up. Reggett is still lying on the ice, and trainer Dave Settlemyre comes out to have a look at him. Scott Stevens is going over to talk to Morel and ask if there should be a penalty shot on the play, but Morel is signaling just a minor penalty call for hooking.
Well, I tell you, I don't buy this call at all. I thought Rick Tocchet did an excellent job of just trying to distract and slow up Kelly Miller enough not to get a penalty call. And this could be a real double blow for the Philadelphia Flyers. Not only do they get Tocchet in the box and take themselves power play, but watch Tocchet. Bumps him, bumps him. I don't think he really had that stick completely wrapped up.
I think he took a scoring chance away from him, though, and that's what Dennis Morel is going to make the call based on.
Well,
I feel bad for Reggett. He really got crashed into that goalpost.
Seems to be okay, but I thought he took the scoring chance away from Kelly Miller by doing a pretty good defensive job. Works to the advantage of the Capitals. Reggett seems to be okay, but with 1:19 left on the Kypreos penalty, Tocchet heads into the box. 4-on-4 hockey for that 1:19. Then a brief Washington man advantage. Pretty strong, tough kid, this Ken Reggett. Much like Ron Hextall in his desire and his attitude on the ice. Maybe not as flagrant in some of the things that he does, but certainly as a battler and a competitor, does not want to come out of the lineup and knows with Hextall out an additional 6 to 8 weeks, he has got the chance to really seal up this Flyer #1 job.
Here comes Bullard to the blue line, gets into Washington ice, chased by Langway behind the goal. Langway bottles him up in the corner. Calle Johansson works to center, gets it across the line. Pavanka goes to the corner after it, tries to center. Courtnall slaps it loose behind the net. Now over to Michael Pavanka to the point. Calle Johansson, a slap shot. It hit Courtnall right in front of the goal, and Ilkka Sinisalo starts back to center ice. He gives to Bullard. Bullard trapped inside the line, and now Langway goes to the corner after it. Langway works it free. Right wing side, he goes to Johansson. Out to center for Pavanka. Caps changing up the line on the fly. Courtnall to Stevens. It gets away from Hatcher at the blue line. Hatcher takes it behind the net. Sends it up the boards. On the right wing, here's Kevin Hatcher across the line. A 2-on-1 with Cicerelli. Here's a shot. A save by Reggett. And he covers the rebound as Hatcher skates by.
Well, the Capitals have a great schedule coming up for the rest of the month of December. Saturday night, the Rangers come into town at 7:35. Then on the 26th, the night after Christmas, it's Mario Lemieux and the Penguins at 7:35. If you're looking for a last-minute Christmas present, there are plenty of tickets available. Get them at all Hex Ticket Centers, or just call phone charge at area code 202-432-0200. Operators on duty for another hour.
Dennis Morel not allowing the Capitals a last-second line change here. He's going to make Hatcher go back to the players' bench. Holder is on with Stevens. Penalty to Kyprios has expired. And now 40 seconds left on the call to Tocchet. Washington power play. Back to Holder at the point. Bill Holder over to Scott Stevens. Now to Dino Cicerelli. Cicerelli, a pass to the blue line for Stevens. Back to Cicerelli. Joyce is parked in front of the net. Here's a pass to the point. Stevens a shot. Rebound is loose. And the Flyers lose the puck. Hunter chases after it. Philadelphia had control of the rebound for a moment. Now Cicerelli with it on the sideboards. 5 seconds left in the power play. Cicerelli to the corner. Joyce right in front of the net. Taken away, and Sutter works back out of the box, and a pass too far behind Tocchet. He has to chase to the corner. Tocchet came out of that penalty box and wanted the pass. Derek Smith can't get to it. Now the Capitals come back on the attack. Here's Scott Stevens to the blue line of Philadelphia. Joyce goes to the goal. The puck played over to Hunter. He throws behind the net. Joyce in there after it with Mark Howe. Bumps Howe off his skates. Takes a spill himself. And out comes Yuri Lottle for the Flyers. Over to Derek Smith. Over to Tocchet. To the side of the net for Lottle. Played off the boards to the point. And Kyprios jams up there. Now Lottle. Penalty call coming. A delayed penalty against Washington, and it'll be 2 minutes for holding. And this will give the Flyers the manpower advantage now as a holding penalty comes against Washington.
When Arsenio has an open house, you never know who might pop in.
The cast is here!
Just to say hi and to hear a couple of songs by Jackson Brown. Or to get a glimpse of baseball great Hank Aaron. And to kibitz with comic Jackie Mason.
Yeah, I was a sex symbol all my life. This is nothing new.
Join the fun and bring a friend.
You really are a very big hit. Nobody expected this.
The next Arsenio Hall Show.
Don't get much better.
Tonight at 11 on WDCA-TV.
Flyer power play with Kyprios in the box for holding at 13-13.
Kelly Miller starts back. Short-handed. And Bullard takes it away. Leads it ahead to Murray Craven. Craven inside the Washington zone. Stolen puck. Mike Ridley reaches in and grabs it and clears back to center ice. Yuri Lottle for Philadelphia. Over to Mike Bullard. Left wing pass. Jay Wells cuts inside the Washington zone, and Ridley's got him lined up. And the puck cleared off the boards by Hatcher and all the way down the ice. Here's Jay Wells. Throws it in behind the net. Tocchet back to get it. Beaten to it by Scott Stevens. Stevens hangs on and works it loose. Taken away by Bullard. Chased by Hatcher behind the goal. Now Tocchet takes charge for Philadelphia to the side of the net for Bullard. He's hit by Hatcher. Still has the puck. Centers it. Craven worked over right in front of the net. Pavanka took him out of the play. Michael Pavanka comes back, shorthanded, a 2-on-1 with Hatcher. Pavanka fires a shot, and a save made by Reggett. Now the puck passed off the sideboards right to Eklund. Eklund comes back for Philadelphia. Chased out of there by Rob Murray, but Sinisalo gets the pass on the right wing. Ilka Sinisalo in the corner, over to Samuelson. His shot bouncing off Stevens, then off Eklund, and back to the point. Howe to Samuelson. Penalty about to expire. 5 minutes to go in the second period. Washington leading 1-0 Samuelson's drive is deflected up into the crowd with 8 seconds left to go on the minor penalty call to Nick Kypreos of the Washington Capitals.
Well, that's a big break for the Capitals because their penalty killers were dog-tired. Hatcher and Stevens had been out there the whole time, and Kevin Hatcher was up on that 2-on-1 with Michael Pavanka, and those two in particular were just standing around because they had nothing left. So that deflection to get the puck out of the play was a tremendous break for Brian Murray as he can get fresh people out there to kill off, he hopes, the remaining 8 seconds of this Nick Kypreos penalty.
Crowd tonight here at the Spectrum, 17,423, a sellout in Philadelphia, and some tickets available for some upcoming games at the Capitol Center, which are sure to have large crowds as well. New York Rangers in town Saturday night. Here's Derek Smith throwing it back to Dave Poulin. At the blue line, Mark Howe's shot deflected into the seats. Now Holder starts to push and shove, gets a high stick wrapped across his shoulder. And the linesman in there to keep the players apart, as Holder had something going with Mellanby.
There's no question Dennis Morel's got a rather thankless job the way these two teams are going at each other. He's called almost everything very, very close with those hooking and holding calls. A lot of the restraining fouls certainly have been called by Dennis Morel, and it's going to be interesting to see, does he keep it up in the third period? Because he has been by the book. I didn't think Tocchet deserved the hooking call. I didn't think that last penalty on Kypreos for holding was much of a factor. Certainly didn't deny anybody a chance at the puck or a scoring opportunity. But Dennis Morel has called that very tight for the first two periods. Will it continue in period 3?
Roughing the calls to Holder and Mellanby at 15:22. Here's where those two players came together right in front of the net. Mellanby charging in front, and Holder there after him, puts the stick on him. And then Mellanby comes right back as play stops and wraps Holder across the shoulder pads with his stick. But it's called roughing to each player. Doesn't affect the manpower. 5 against 5 now, plus the goaltenders.
And Mike, also the Capitals have had two different 2-on-1 opportunities in this period. One of them shorthanded, a chance to get a 2-0 lead in this game, and Reggett with one good stop, and then the other shot never made it on net. Capitals getting some chances. And
here comes another one. Johansson misfires on a pass to Corvo, and the Capitals are offside as a result. So the faceoff comes back out to neutral ice with 4:28 to go in the second period of play.
So that has been the one area, I think, consistently all year that's driven Brian Murray crazy. The quality scoring chances that have been, the Capitals have been unable to convert. They're finally getting a guy like Dino Ciccarelli, Ridley, people like that hot, and some of those chances are going in, but you get 2-on-1s, you get breaks like that, and either you don't put it on net, you don't get the pass completed, you get an offside, goaltender comes up with a big save. Capitals with the opportunities to really take control, and they're not doing it.
Here's Courtnall starting out to center ice, and a 2-on-2 now with Ivan Corvo at the blue line. Corvo cutting to the net. The puck rides up off the stick of Reggett. Corvo is bumped against the boards behind the goal. Howe clears to the line. Courtnall takes over at center, but Corvo overskates the puck. Now it's picked up by Mike Bullard. Here's Courtnall. Leads it to Hunter. Dale Hunter gets across the blue line. On the right wing, tries to center, and the whistle blows. And we've got a slashing penalty call coming now. And Horacek steps in to talk with Langway, but the linesmen are there to keep them apart. Slashing the call against Horacek. We'll be right back.
Solid financial future. Providence Savings, your solid choice.
Tony Horacek, the latest member of the Flyers to head into the penalty box, slashing the call at 16:17.
Washington on the power play, and here is Hatcher throwing it in behind the goal. Picked up and cleared off the sideboards now by Samuelson, and back into the Capital zone. Scott Stevens goes to take it. Here's Stevens over to Kevin Hatcher. Moves it to the point. Ron Sutter chasing after it. He'll take his time, killing off the penalty, brings it back to Samuelson. And Samuelson lugs it all the way down. collision at the side of the net. And boy, Beaupre got bumped hard. He and Tocchet collide right into the side of the Washington net, and both skaters get back up, and it looks like they're all right. It sounded worse than it actually was.
Well, you can see Beaupre back there trying to play the puck, and Hatcher getting the stick in there on Rick Tocchet and helping him off balance as well. Tocchet really didn't look like he had control of where he was going because of that Hatcher stick, and Hatcher now heads to the penalty box. So once again, Capitals start a power play, a penalty takes them off it. It's happened to the Flyers, it's happened to the Capitals, and it just has been specialty team hockey for almost 40 minutes this evening at the Spectrum. 3:13 left to go.
Penalty number 4, Kevin Hatcher, 2 minutes for hooking. Time 15 minutes, 37 seconds. Kevin Hatcher, Washington, Flyer, hooking.
Just 20 seconds after Horacek goes in the box, Hatcher gets it for hooking. 16:37 the time of the call.
From the faceoff, Scott Stevens tries to get it on his stick now. Here's Courtnall with the puck, puts it behind the goal, and Stevens starts out. 3 minutes to play in the second period. Caps leading 1-0. At the blue line, Washington is offside. And again, a whistle to stop play. Well, if you're looking for a great Christmas gift, the Capitals may have the perfect idea for you. Sales representatives are standing by right now to take your order for a rugby sweatshirt at $30 or the Capitals music video and highlight film for $24.50. Your order will be mailed tomorrow. They guarantee delivery before Christmas. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover cards are accepted, and sales reps are standing by right now at 386-7080. That's 386-7080. Hunter spun around back in his own end. Courtnall bumped at center ice, and the Flyers control the puck with 2:40 to play in the second period. Here's Pelle Eklund working to the blue line of Washington. Drops it off for Mark Howe. A wrist shot, and it's up high off the glove of Beaupre, hitting the glass. Now a tie-up along the sideboards. Johansson works it free. Sutter takes over. His wrist shot blocked. Eklund has the puck, and that's taken away by Scott Stevens. He finds Courtnall at center. Over to Hunter on the left wing. Hunter across the blue line. Coming on with a wrist shot, deflected up into the crowd by Jay Wells. Two minutes and 9 seconds left to go in this second period. Now the penalty box doors open up, and coming out is Mellanby and Holder. Holder will stay on the ice. Mellanby heads back over to the Flyer bench. Here's Sutter trying to get the shot underway, and a good block. Then as Eklund came up with it, he lost it. Scott Stevens back on defense for Washington, and doing a great job on that play. Pavanka has Cicerelli on the right. Holder back on the blue line. Rod Langway with him. 4-on-4 for 26 seconds. Then the Flyers get Horacek back on the ice. Here's a shot by Cicerelli, blocked. Tocchet turns to start back. Rick Tocchet to the red line. Throws it into the right wing corner of the Washington zone. And behind the net is Beaupre to clear it up the boards. Wells gets clipped with a stick from Cicerelli. Cicerelli comes back. A 3-on-1. A pass, a shot, and a save by Reggett. He can't find it, but he stopped it. Flyers won a penalty call as Wells was hit by the high stick in the corner. But on the other end of the ice, the Capitals can't pull off a 3-on-1. The pass was perfect to Pavanka, and he fires, but Reggett makes the save. Let's see if we can see where Jay Wells got it in the corner. Here's Cicerelli reaching for it and smacks at Wells, and Wells goes down. Wells still has something to say as he heads back to the Philadelphia bench. Take another look at it here as you'll see him come into the corner, and Cicerelli reached out and cracked at him with the stick, and it looked like it might have hit him on the hand, going through the padding of his glove, or maybe on the wrist. Penalties over now to Horacek, and Philadelphia with a brief power play opportunity. 23 seconds to go on the Washington penalty now to Kevin Hatcher. And a minute and a half remaining in the second period of play. Caps lead 1-0. At the point, here's Howe throwing it rink wide. Yuri Lottle keeps it in. Rob Murray drives him into the boards. Now Howe coming back. Miller to the blue line. Hatcher's out of the box, and Miller takes it across the line. But we've got a fight going on as Scott Stevens is really throwing the punches here and really going after his opponent, dropping him down. Stevens throwing some right hands in close and had the left working there for a while too, and now he keeps going again on Murray Craven. And Scott Stevens really working over Murray Craven. That all started behind the play, and Murray Craven never had much of a chance to do anything, as Stevens was really way too fast for him, throwing a combination of right and left-hand punches. And with only a minute 9 seconds remaining in the second period, Stevens heads back to the dressing room. Now he's got something to say to Reggett, as Reggett talks to him as he goes by. And Stevens is gone for the rest of this period. They put him back in the dressing room rather than confine him to the penalty box. I don't know what the extent of the penalties will be here to Murray Craven. But Dennis Morel is reporting the calls now over at the penalty box. The time of the penalties, 18:51 of the second period. We'll watch it again. Here's Craven going after Stevens in the corner, slowing him up. Had the stick on him there to slow him up. Stevens had something to say as he got back up, and then as the play continued on up ice, Stevens and Craven get going. They each get fighting majors. So the time 18:51. 5 minutes each for fighting to Scott Stevens and Murray Craven. Tockett's out there now. Sutter is out there. Chychrun, Berube, and Wells. What a lineup. The Capitals have Hunter on with Courtnall, Langway, and Hatcher. Here's a steal. The puck goes wide of the goal. Ivan Corvo on the far boards to start out. Checked by Sutter. And here's Courtnall to start out. Courtnall rushes to the center line. Drops it at the blue line for Langway. Langway coming on. Throws it behind the net. And it's tipped away from Courtnall's stick. Now Jeff Courtnall over in the corner. Puts it back at the goal for Hunter. The net has been knocked loose now as Corvo is knocked over by Chychrun. And just as Langway winds up for the shot, Berube goes after Courtnall. Mark Vines keeping Craig Berube away. You see Berube here skating in as he and Courtnall get started. Courtnall makes the pass. Berube runs at him, pushes him into the boards, then gives him another shot. Mark Howe steps on the ice now, as well as Yuri Lottle. Berube comes off the ice, so does Chychrun and Tocchet. 32 seconds left to go in the second period. Brian Murray has Kelly Miller on with Mike Ridley and Dino Ciccarelli. Calle Johansson back on the point with Kevin Hatcher. Flyers get the draw. Howe clears it off the sideboards for Poulin, but he can't send it outside the line. Johansson keeps it in. Over to Dino Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli back to the point. Here's Hatcher, a wrist shot just wide of the net. Ciccarelli chasing after it. It's cleared up the boards to Derek Smith. 15 seconds left to play in the period. Here comes Poulin across the line. Drop pass to Sutter. Sutter, a wrist shot. Beaupre makes the glove save. Now it's behind the net. Over to Derek Smith. High backhander missing wide. 2 seconds left in the period. A tie-up at the side of the goal. Hatcher gets slashed on the play, and Hatcher comes in there now going after Sutter. Derek Smith involved in it as well. Hatcher got a pretty good slash right across the back just as time ran out. He turned around. It was not Sutter that hit him, but that's who he winds up talking to. The only goal in the period, Murray, his second of the season from Ciccarelli, and the Capitals lead 1-0 Shots on goal, Washington 13, a two-period total of 23, and the Flyers with 5, a two-period total of 14.
Sterling 827. Grace under pressure. Canon cameras. Makers of EOS, the world's most advanced autofocus system. Providence Savings.